welcome to Autocar Professional. We are at the launch of EQE and I'm joined by Mr. Santosh Iyer. Thank you so
Mugdha,
much
for
taking
us.
time out for us. Now first question, EQE, your fourth product in the market. What is your current penetration of EVs in India and what are your targets for your EVs?
So, yeah, it's a special day for us with the EQE SUV launch. When you talk about penetration, we do 4 to 5% of our sales are EVs today. Quite happy with it, considering the mass market is at 1.5%. So, definitely we do a bit better. But I think EVs still have a way to go in the Indian market. If you look at the midterm, we feel in the next 3 to 4 years, 25% of the sales volume should be consisting of EVs. But there are many barriers, barriers, one in terms of the ecosystem, charging, customer, perceptions. And I think we need to work on all these factors to get to that mark. But for us, EV is not a volume story. Right now, EV is about cultural change, a transformational change. And I think the volumes will follow in the long run, because if you see the worldwide statement, we have clearly said that by 2030, we will be 100% EV wherever markets allow. And India, maybe it may continue a bit more on combustion engines, but we are accelerating towards a EV future for sure.
By when do you think that inflection point will come where the customer does not tell you that EV is going to be my next buy? Because we were having a conversation before this and Santosh told me that most of the customers come and say that EV is going to be their next car. So how far are we from that point where the customer says, okay, EV is what I want to buy?
I think here the overall auto industry, so we are a 4 million car market, and when I say only 1.5% is EV, as we reach 10 to 15% in the overall market, I think that's when there will be a much bigger acceptance. So it's like a sauce coming out of the ketchup bottle, when the moment the 10% comes in, 15% comes in the overall market, then the myths are shattered. The myths whether the battery will last for 50-20 years, the myths whether the residual value of the car will be there is all shattered. The myths that I can get a charging easily is all realistic. So that's one. The second is, in our segment we are offering range. The EQS offers 700 plus kilometer range. This is 550 odd kilometers depending on weather and others, but we are still offering range. But if I look at the total market or the mass market, the range is still not there as such. And I think the best inflection point is when the gallon of fuel is equal to the gallon of range that you can get, or the distance that you get with the cars when it comes to the overall segment. And that's when people will then get over their inhibitions and start moving more. But yes, the trendsetters are doing a great job. They love EVs. They are converts. They love to flaunt the green number plate. And I think we are working on them, and they are making a very big role in transformation. One of the reasons we announced today to open up our charging network to everyone, all brands, is because we want those trendsetters to come to Mercedes-Benz as well. They want to also come and see cars, experience the charging that they can get from our high performance chargers. And on the other hand, they will make a significant change to the ecosystem with their knowledge and their contribution on EVs.
You have huge localization plans. For EVs, do you have some localization plan? Are you planning to invest more in localizing EVs in India, and what is that number?
So Mugdha, we were the first to get a luxury EV in India. We were the first to localize a EV in India. And I think now we have the CBU launch, the last two were CBU launches. For us, localization from a customer view, what matters is pricing. So today if you see on an EQE SUV, we have been able to give a pricing as good as a CKD almost, because at 1.39 crores, we feel it's a great deal. Because if I compare it with a combustion engine GLE at 1.08 crores for a GLE 400, you add all the road tax, it comes to 1.3 crores, and you get an EV with a hyper screen with the bells and whistles at 1.39. So I think it's a great value in states where the road tax is not on top. But even in states where there is on top of road tax, this goes up to 1.5 odd crores. So I think a 20 lakh rupees difference between on a luxury EV, having so much of content and equipment, I think it's great value. So CBU, CKD is not the question, because pricing we have tried to make it aggressive. On the other hand, I think localization helps when the volumes increase. On EQE, our global plants are not equipped to have a localization. That means they are not set up for supplying us part by part. Okay. And therefore, it's just impossible to localize these cars. But we have a long-term roadmap. The 25%, as I said, in 3-4 years will come with a range of topics, including products, including localization, including customer behavior, and we will get there. So hopefully.
So have you set aside a certain number of investment that you would do for just for EV?
Not really. You know, we do product-wise investments. Like we did the GLC launch last month. We invested 150 crores into this plant. Our total investments here are close to 2,750 crores. So as and when new products come, localization comes, we will keep investing. But there is no separate allocation.
You know, recently the SIAM convention was held, and the tax, a more favorable tax regime for new players comes back on the table. How do you see that? Do you think EVs need a favorable policy to be able to expand in India? And what is your overall thought of what the minister said?
I think firstly the minister was clear that whatever policy comes will be for all players. I think that's a level playing field, and the government is really clear on this topic that it will always be a level playing field, whatever policies they come up, and that has been the CM view, and I think the government concurs with that. So. But we also feel that it's good that the competition comes up, because more and more players coming will only drive the ecosystem faster. Adoption will be faster, awareness will be faster. So I think it's a great move if there is a favorable policy. But let me tell you, the government is also doing a lot on EVs. Today the GST is 5% on EVs. Road tax in many states are just not there. That's an additional 20% benefit to the customer. So if it is standardized, it will be great. But yeah, some states are forward looking, some are not. And so therefore we have these differences. But I think it's up to the industry now to seize the opportunity with these taxes, introduce more models, get the ecosystem in place. You know, couple of years back, the OEMs never felt they are responsible for the charging infrastructure. They said it's government. But today now I think there is a realization that if we don't drive this ecosystem, we cannot build a sustainable, carbon neutral vision. And therefore we have to drive a bit on charging, we have to drive a bit on this ecosystem. So now when it comes to manufacturing, the government is for sure, what we hear, toying with ideas, but nothing is concrete as of now, and we would like to see what the new policy, if at all something is announced, to see.
You know, one big name in EV system is Tesla, and we have been hearing that they are planning to come. How do you see, you are already established in India, they also cater to luxury segment. So how do you see that panning out for you?
So as I said, positively we are very happy if they come, because it'll really accelerate much more faster maybe the ecosystem and the adoption of EVs. On the other side, what I hear from the press reports is they are planning a 20-25 lakh car, which is below the Model 3, which is a mass car. And therefore we don't see then they will be participating in the luxury segment, because luxury starts where necessity ends, right? So technically it's not just going from point A to point B, for which I think they can have great cars, but we offer a bit more than that in terms of the equipment, loadings. If you sit on an EQE inside, you see the center dashboard, there are small stars on the wooden panel, trims done. So this is luxury, right? This is not that if you don't have the cup holder also it will be fine, but you have it because you can experience it, and therefore we feel we are much better placed in the Indian market, but competition is welcome. It definitely helps to grow awareness, grow the market, but if we have to believe the media reports, we feel they will be more competing with the mass market players than with the luxury segment as such.
Okay, now another question that I have is about the diesel, because you have a huge portfolio of diesel. What is your view of government's back and forth on diesel?
I think I was there in the CM convention, and when I heard the Honorable Minister, the intent was to say, hey guys, shift to sustainable fuels, shift fast, don't force the government to make you shift fast. And the reference on diesels was to do with gensets, with heavy machinery equipments and others, because they are still using old engines and old stuff. When you talk about cars, we are already in BS6. Most of our cars are in phase 2 BS6 compliant. They are one of the best clean diesels available in the world. And when you look at PM 2.5 or the particulate matter emission, I think they are very good, because there are diesel traps, OPPO particulate filter. So we sell clean diesels. Customers like it. You know, in our portfolio, 50% of our cars are diesels, because customers find better efficiency, better torquiness, good fun to drive, and more importantly, if you look at the residual values, you know, diesel cars in most parts of India have better residual value compared to petrol. So though diesels are expensive to buy, when you compare a diesel car to a petrol, it's 10 to 15% more expensive, but still people are buying because they find value in a diesel. So for us, we have diesels, clean diesels, we have gasoline, which can also run on ethanol blended fuel. So we have no issues with more ethanol blending, 10%, 15% or 20 because we are compliant there. And then we have electric. And we wait for the customer to decide, and we will change our mix based on what the customer is deciding. But I think today diesels are great alternatives for because petrol, let's remember, also has CO2, which is harmful. India is signatory to the Paris Climate Change Accord. We have to bring down CO2. So if you push petrol, also it won't serve the agenda. So we need to have balance between petrol and diesel and EV to take over both over a period of time and replace both the powertrains on an equal basis.
You know, the other question that I have, that now that we are in festive season, how's the festive season panning out? The interest rates have gone up. Have you seen any impact on demand? What is your expectation on growth?
So the good part of this festive season, I was when I saw the calendar, I was happy that it is from August to November, because there is no peak. You have festivals in a bit in August in South, then you have September in West, Dussehra in October, and Diwali in November, which is great for our production guys because we can plan to cater to the market demand and spread it out. Having said that, most of our cars which are in waiting period, customers who want deliveries in festive period have already booked it in July, August. Now they will get the deliveries in during the festive period. But we still have, we increase our production on sedans. We still have a lot of sedans which we can offer. And there, as you rightly said, the interest rates have gone up. But with our financial services arm, we have been able to introduce certain financial packages which makes the ownership cost the same. So we also had 2 price increases, one in Jan and one in April. That also had an impact on the sentiment. But with these financial packages, we are able to offset that, and we still feel that last year was the best ever festive. This year, hopefully, we again have the best ever festive. Current trends indicate that it should be a good period for us.
All right. Thank you so much for
taking
taking time.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks
Thank you.
Thanks.